Good morning, YouTube. And we have a helicopter. Tracking directly overhead. I don't know whether he's going home because everything's over or whether there's a fire out there. But I would say he's probably pointing at Ballina at the moment. So, let's go and have a look at the horizon. With the handy dandy look a long way machine emplaced at the bore tanks. And I gotta say, I'm not seeing anything in the way of smoke from what was a couple of days ago a fire ground. I'm going down behind there to re-water. Sneaking along in that gully and firebombing down in there. Just this side of the extreme far horizon. So I'd say that's been put to bed and the helicopter has gone back home. So it has. That sort of shows a better view of it. Hopefully I don't get any fires coming any closer to here than that. But on the grounds that brush cutting equals sheet mulching and sheet mulching equals building up the topsoil and turning the landscape green, I think I'd probably better go back to extending my perimeter onto the sheep farm. Because an ember attack off that fire at Bullock Mountain, getting into this stuff, it would be very difficult to stop. And I figure if I use this bare rocky bit here and brush cut up along here in the foreground, which this will be the third year, no, actually it'll be about the fifth year that I've been encroaching out here. It might be a little bit more reasonable to try and stop this from burning if I don't have a fuel burden coming up from the top of the hill right to butt up against me fence. Like basically this shit has got to go and my neighbour's got livestock on it, but guess what? Sheep and cows are not going to climb up to the top of a hill to eat dead sticks and dry leaves and dead grass. People say that livestock reduce the fire risk by trampling it down. Yeah. What reduces the fire risk is cutting it down and making it go rotten and turn into topsoil and holding the moisture for next time. This here, this is where I've been working for 5 years. However, the enforced extended little holiday, and I did nothing here all through winter. And you don't really start on your neighbour's place until you've cleaned up the grass fire fuel bomb on your own side of the border, if that makes sense. So that bit there is what's scheduled for today, because this is already nicely bare. Won't take too much to clean it up, and link that last little rocky outcrop with this clear, bare, bald bit of bedrock on top of the hill. I've just got to get rid of that grass there, and then come back later with a blade and get into the flax lily tussocks, because they've got lots of dry grass in them. And a string brush cutter won't touch the flax lily, but it's good on all the other stuff. So yeah, this is the sort of thing that your average normal farmer has no time for. And that is the best visual representation of the scale of the bushfire fuel bomb that we are currently sitting on that I could possibly show to you. Where, unless it's been brush cut, the dead dry grass is fence top high, over the top of the fence, just swallows it. So yeah, welcome to life on the Endangered Species Sanctuary in these wonderful benighted times of anthropogenic global warming. Anybody care to hazard a guess at how many tonnes of bushfire fuel there is per acre in a forest that suffered 50% death of the canopy in the drought 4 or 5 years ago? Air dried 60-foot high, perfectly cured firewood with head high dry dead grass underneath. Yeah, this is why I've done 40 hours on the brush cutter since I came back from getting my head cooked. All things considered, you couldn't get a fire permit to try and burn any of that at the moment. So therefore, thus and because I'm burning petrol and two-stroke fuel to brush cut on my neighbour's side of the fence to give me a better chance of running a hose line up here and stopping any fire coming up the hill from his place to mine before it gets through my archaeological relic of a fence, which might date back to the 1880s, if not earlier. It's a marvellous old fence, which I could not afford to replace. Hence all this industrious futility, mowing the grass around the rocks beside the wild native food plants on the sheep farm next door to my place, where the chuffs are still in residence. Ah well. People talk about an emu parade. Fun fact, once upon a time, emus lived here wild. But at least I have troughs, once again. To go with the swamp wallabies. As the interspecies forest community all joins in to try and restore the landscape to some recognisable remnant of what it used to be, where the topsoil rises up to cover over the rocks as the biomass and the biodiversity increase. Inside the boundaries of the bit of Australia for which I paid to be made responsible, in the sense that as long as I don't interfere with anything that's protected or endangered, as long as I don't log any slopes steeper than 30 degrees, there's pretty much no restrictions on how much money I can spend in trying to, quote, wrest a profit from this landscape. And there's nothing you can do to make money out of this place. It's not going to reduce the biomass and the biodiversity and strip the topsoil away from the rocks. So therefore I try not to farm it. I try to look after it instead. And that's why we have troughs working to assist moi. This probably chaotic project where I don't attack the windmills, rather I build them and use them for garden ornaments. Warbles on like the YouTube. Ciao.